So now we're moving on to our third lesson, which is volume. So with volume, we're now dealing with liquid measurement. So this is significantly different than anything we've done so far. So again, let's start out with you choosing which one you think is bigger. A liter or a gallon, a liter or a quart, a milliliter or a fluid ounce. Just take a second, think about it, circle the ones that you think are bigger. All right, so for the first one, you can think about this, right? You have a gallon of milk or a liter, and a liter is about the size of a water bottle, right? You can also think about a 2 liter is much smaller than a gallon. It actually takes almost 4 liters to fill a gallon. Now, a liter and a quart are actually very similar. So as you know, it takes 4 quarts to make a gallon, and it takes just about 4 liters to make a gallon. But liter is just a little bit bigger. And then 1 fluid ounce is quite a bit bigger. It's actually almost 30 times bigger. So it takes about 30 milliliters to make 1 fluid ounce. So 1 milliliter is quite small. So our beakers that we use in here, and a lot of the pipettes and droppers, pretty much everything is milliliters. So we'll be using that a lot this year. So volume ultimately is the amount of space that an object takes up. Remember, mass is the amount of stuff inside of the space, but volume is the actual space. So think about a basketball, right? The volume of a basketball would be measuring, right, the overall surface. Or you can look at the cube to the right. It's length times width times height. You're just measuring the outside volume. So our base unit here is going to be a liter. So ultimately, this is pretty simplified in some ways. So we really only talk about liters and milliliters. So 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. And if you go on to a little higher level science, you'll have to know that 1 milliliter is 1 cubic decimeter, or 1 gram. But we're not going to probably use that too much in this class. So with that in mind, let's look at the bottom. I need you to use this math to determine whether 1 liter or 1,500 milliliters is bigger, 200 milliliters or 1.2 liters, or 12 centimeters cubed or 12 milliliters. So one liter is about 1,000 milliliters, so 1,500 milliliters is bigger. 1.2 liters is 1,200 milliliters, so that's bigger. Right, and 12 centimeters cubed is about 12 milliliters. So we're going to use this tool a lot, right? Our graduated cylinder. That's kind of the most accurate tool to find our volumes. However, there's a specific way we need to measure the liquid in there. So there's something called a meniscus, and we'll learn more about the reason why a meniscus forms. So ultimately, a meniscus is kind of like a bowl-shaped surface. So if you had like a bowl of water, there would actually be, the surface is not flat, it's actually bowled a little bit too, because the water rises up on the edges. So when you're reading the volume, you actually want to look at the very middle where the meniscus or the bowl shape is the lowest. You also want to make sure that you have it on eye level. So what you do, you don't hold it up in the air, you put it on a table and lower yourself so you're looking eye level. Okay? So I want you to look at our graduated cylinder over here. I want you to tell me how many milliliters you think that is. Hopefully you said it was 43, right? Because the top of the meniscus is about 44, but the bottom is 43. So ultimately, this is a real picture. So this is definitely a thing. It's a pretty significant, difference. You're talking 1 or 2 milliliters, and it's because the glass and the water, or the glass and the plastic, or the water and the plastic, are actually attracted to each other by something called adhesion. And so we'll learn about adhesion later in the year. So I want you to tell me the 3 volumes of each one of these graduated cylinders. So I'm going to give you probably about, 30, 45 seconds to try and determine each one of these. All right, so this first one is going to be 52 milliliters, so A. The second one is going to be 37. And the third one, so this is where it gets a little tricky because this is 20 to 25. So I would probably call that 23 milliliters. All right, so again, I want you to try and figure out the volume of this cube to our, or not cube, this shape to our left by using the length times width times height. So go ahead, if you need to grab a calculator, grab a calculator, but I'll give you a second to do that. So hopefully you got 720, right? If you do 9 times 8 times 10, that comes out to 720 centimeters cubed. That's the important thing, centimeters cubed. And then the way to find the volume for an object that's not straight like the shape above is to actually put it in water. So if you look, you can see how adding the water, you can actually, or adding the rock to the water, you can see the change in volume. So I want you to go ahead, try and tell me the amount of water with the object, the amount of water without the object, and the difference in volume.